Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Brawl for All Pro Wrestling Show. This is episode 31 and I'm your host Jeff Jaros, and you're going to have to bear with me this week because I'm on my own for the first time since episode 7. I actually went back and checked it out. The only time I've ever done a solo show is on episode 7, so it's been a while as we are on episode 31. Pretty eventful week that we had last week. Last Friday we actually went to... Me and Jeff Crow, my usual co-host, went to the WWE live event in Springfield, Illinois, which is actually my birthplace and the home of Andre Iguodala, who won the MVP in the NBA Finals last night, so shout out to him too. We actually met a lot of nice people in Springfield while we were there, and I want to kind of explain a little bit of our experience that we had when we were there, because it was one hell of a time for just a live event, non-televised. Also, I will be going over the Money in the Bank results, the pay-per-view that was Sunday night, and also going over Raw like I usually do, and some news and notes. And this week on Raw, I don't know if I'll get too detailed like I usually do, but I'll try to get everything in there. Without anybody here, I'll pretty much just be giving my own opinion. One of the things I wanted to kick it off with, though, is 10-second moment of silence, and I wanted to dedicate episode 31 to none other than the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. One of the greatest of all time in my opinion. I have some notes on him here too that I'll get into, but I'm going to go ahead and start the show off with a 10-second moment of silence, and I want to say rest in peace Dusty Rhodes, one of the greatest of all time. Here we go. Okay, rest in peace, Dusty. He will be greatly missed. And Dusty being one of the major stars that have ever came through the sport of professional wrestling, I had some special notes here for him on the Rest in Peace tribute episode to him. October 11th, 1945, he was born. He was actually married with 4 kids and 5 grandchildren and a brother and sister at the time of his death. He was the backstage booker and producer for NXT at the time, which... everybody knows that has seen NXT. I mean, some of the product that's coming out of there is only a testament to Dusty being backstage. I have to say that that's got to be a case for a lot of guys. I'm sure he's helped a ton of guys on promos and stuff like that. Knowledge in the business was just endless. He actually held the NWA title 3 times. He was a U.S. champion and a multi-time television champion for the NWA. He was also a world tag team and a 6-man tag team champion in the NWA as well. And he also won many, many regional titles. Couldn't even name off the titles that he's all won, but it's just been an extreme amount. He is one of 6 to be inducted into the WWE, WCW, Professional Wrestling, and the Wrestling Observer Newsletters Hall of Fame. He also, I forgot to mention, is the father of Goldust and Stardust, which is Cody and Dustin Rhodes, as everybody probably knows. He did work in TNA, actually, from 2003 to 2005 as the Director of Authority. He worked as the booker for WCW. Even becoming a member of the NWO. He wrestled Steve Corino in ECW, putting him over. He had the WWF Polka Dot run, which is widely remembered. Actually, you know, I think it was a rib at him at first, but that guy pulled it off like no other. And I've actually got a card that I've had up on my desk here for quite a while here, so him passing away is just quite ironic that I put that card up there on my desk, and he has now passed away. Also, you know, he had competed up till 2005 in the ring, I read on him. And he competed in ROH in 2003, so he has also been in Ring of Honor. They made a great WWE DVD called The Dusty Rhodes Story, which I have, and I highly recommend if you want to know more on the American Dream now that he's passed. I think they have the documentary portion on the WWE Network, so make sure you check that out. And just a little backstory, Dusty played football at West Texas State and the Continental Football League. He was actually helped into the business, helped break in by Gary Hart, the late great Gary Hart. If anybody doesn't know his work, you have to go back and check out Gary Hart, one of the best managers ever in the business. He broke in with that name due to Andy Griffith's character in the film A Face in the Crowd in the 1960s. That's where they came up with the name Dusty Rhodes. I thought was interesting. He became a villain, tagging with Dick Murdoch, the great late Dick Murdoch, to form the Texas Outlaws in the AWA territory to start his career. And I've read through a lot of stuff there, a lot of notes I took on Dusty, and he will be greatly and widely missed throughout the business and his colleagues, and also, the fans amongst the world. Dusty Rhodes, I've never seen so many posts on Facebook after somebody passed away than I had after Dusty Rhodes. It seemed like even if you weren't a wrestling fan, you definitely knew who Dusty Rhodes was. So a big shout out, rest in peace to Dusty Rhodes, and the rest of this show will be dedicated in honor of his memory, and it is greatly deserved by Dusty himself. I'm going to try to run through here, not be as long as some of my past episodes, with nobody to talk to here or ask questions to. I'm kind of just giving my own opinion, so it'll be quick anyway, but I hope you'll enjoy it. So that was my notes on Dusty there. And moving on to Money in the Bank 2015 results and notes. And I have also forgot to mention before when I started out the show that if you like what you hear here, make sure you hit the subscribe button there on YouTube, or like us on Facebook wherever you find us. Do both. If you find us on Facebook, do both, or YouTube, vice versa. We appreciate the support. Every like, click on that subscribe button shows your support to the show and keeps us going. So we like to hear feedback too, any questions or comments. I know I met some people at the show in Springfield, so I want to say a shout out to them if they are listening, and thanks a lot. And make sure you leave your questions and comments, and maybe your experience at the show. And before I get on to Money in the Bank, I did want to talk about the live event in Springfield. We had a outstanding time at this show, and one of the things I wanted to say was if you are ever in Springfield and are able to attend a show at the Prairie Capital Convention Center, I would highly recommend it. We had balcony seats, which were just up off the ground level, off the floor level, and I mean, there's not a bad seat in the Prairie Capital Convention Center, but we pretty much had free roam once we were in there. My friend actually was able to snag a floor seat ticket because he is a disabled vet, Jeff did, who was not able to get on the show tonight due to some health issues that he's had, and I hope he gets better, and I want to send a shout out to him on this episode too to get well, and I hope he does. And he can get back on here next week and let us know his experience at the live event. But I'm going to speak for myself, saying it was a tremendous time. I know he had a great time. I do want to thank WQLZ 92.7 out of Springfield for the chance to win the 2 tickets that I received, and I greatly appreciate the free tickets, even if I did have to win via contest, because it was just a great, memorable time. They did let us, while we were there, we pretty much had free roam. Like I said, we were able to go right up to the guardrails, take pictures during the entrances and right after the match, and then of course you had to sit down during the match so people could see. But the storm of people they were letting up there, I mean, it was just a great experience. I mean, just going right up there, getting some great pictures that we did put up and post on our Facebook page. Also, we sat out where they pulled up to enter the arena. We got to see Miz, Kane, actually Chris Jericho, which was his first live event back. We were able to see him coming through and talk to him. We also seen John Cena, Nikki and Brie Bella, and Rosa Mendez as well pull up. We got there a little late and didn't see some of the guys pull in, but most of the big names we did get to see. I actually had a spot where I got right up close to Cena, and I know Jeff actually got to slap hands with Cena, so it was pretty cool to get right up close to him. I got some good video footage, but I'm scared to put it on the Facebook page to do any kind of copyright violations. We did put the still pics up. Jeff actually posted a video on his personal channel, which is pretty cool if you check it out. Actually, to just give an overview of what we saw at the live event, they actually do have like a mini Titantron now, an entrance ramp that they put up for the live events, which has really added a lot. They had some smoke machines, no pyro, but it was a lot better than just a guy walking right out of the curtain and coming to the ring. I mean, they really added a lot of spice to the live event since the last time I went. They did not have any of that. I was excited to see what it was like, and it was just an overall different experience than I've had from live events in the past, being able to have that free range. And like I said, shout out to the Prairie Capital Convention Center for holding a good event. There was a 10-bell salute for, the late, great Dusty at the beginning that we got to be part of, which was very cool, and I will never forget. It was the first show they did after Dusty's passing, I'm pretty sure. So the 10-bell salute there for Dusty, just like they did at the beginning of Money in the Bank. These pay-per-views run together on me sometimes, and I repeat the wrong pay-per-view, which Cdub in the past has pointed out to me. And speaking of Cdub, check out Chronochord Media, who does cross-promotion here with the Brawl for All, and Cdub, who is a regular co-host now on here as well. So go check them out. Make sure you subscribe. We actually have them under our featured channels on our page, and just type in Chronochord Media to find them on YouTube or Facebook. And make sure you like them and sub. Cdub, very cool. He'll be coming back from Florida, which he'll let us know all about his experience at the Championship Wrestling from Florida convention that he went to. So I can't wait to get him on here. So shout out to him, like I said. After this 10-bell salute, anyway, we got to see the matches were Ryback defeating Bray Wyatt, which was a pretty good match to see since Ryback has the IC title now. I liked seeing Bray Wyatt for the first time live. Jimmy Uso defeated Bo Dallas, and then Bo, called out an open challenge after he was beaten. And it was Jack Swagger who defeated Bo after that. After he made the open challenge, it was accepted by Swagger, and he defeated Bo twice on the night. Jimmy Uso, nice to see him competing. He has been off TV doing main event commentary lately since Jay has been injured. I have not gotten an update on Uso, but for the time being, it seems like he's going to stick on the commentary team until he comes back to actual TV. Now we have Cesaro defeat Eric Rowan, which was a pretty good match. Cesaro lost his tag team partner Tyson Kidd, who was actually spotted at Dusty Rhodes' funeral in a neck brace. So it's going to be interesting to see how long the serious injury of Tyson Kidd. Well, they're saying it's more serious than what they thought, so I'm going to call it a serious injury on Tyson Kidd. A note on that too: his injury was still scarcely known on the details. Joe was not to blame, is what I read, and it's said to be serious, like I said. And Edge and Austin even reached out to Tyson Kidd, who both have been victims of neck injuries themselves. So while I'm going over that, I figured I'd just tell you guys about Tyson Kidd's status. But we did see Cesaro defeat Rowan. And then we seen the return of Chris Jericho, who hosted a highlight reel, which was very, very cool. He cut a promo on the Authority, which was funnier than hell. It was great to see Jericho back in there. Wish he would make some TV appearances, but I'm good on seeing him at the live event. And I wish him well on his 18 more dates. Well, he's probably down to about 17 or 16 by now. I can't wait to see that July 3rd and 4th show, which will be aired on the WWE Network, I understand. So I can't wait to see that WWE live in Japan. Also, we had the Bellas defeat Tamina and Naomi. That was just the Divas match thrown in there, which was nice to see the Divas. Also, we had New Day defeat Miz and Adam Rose, Macho Mandel and Curtis Axel, Axelmania, and the Ascension in a fatal 4-way tag team match. The New Day had the tag team titles still then too, so they were able to hold on. It was pretty good to see New Day. They cut some pretty good promos on the crowd, pretty much shooting on the crowd, straight heel style in my opinion. I'm kind of liking the New Day after that live event. I mean, it was just Xavier Woods and Biggie, by the way. Kofi wasn't there, but the New Day did a great job at that live event, and I'm starting to kind of enjoy the New Day now. I don't know why. They aren't the greatest, but after that little promo they cut and the performance they put on live, I was like, I like the energy that New Day brings to the table. They could be used a little bit better. I didn't like to see him drop the titles, but it was nice to see that. And New Day gets the win in the live event that we went to. Cena defeated Kane in a nice cage match. The ending spot, actually, Cena was climbing over the cage on the outside. Kane went to escape at the door, and Cena kicked the door right into his head and was able to escape the cage. And that's whenever me and Jeff got down there, and he was able to slap hands, and I was able to get a pretty good video up close and personal of John Cena. So it was a pretty good night overall. We went home really happy with what we saw, especially getting the tickets for free. You couldn't ask for more. And just like I said, if you're ever in the Springfield area, definitely check out a show, a WWE live show, TV or not, at the Prairie Capital Convention Center in Springfield, because it is an experience now that I would definitely go back in a heartbeat when they come back around. Now we're going to go on to the Money in the Bank results, because that was enough on the live show that we attended. I hope any questions or comments too about our experience, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. And shout out to anybody who's listening that I met there, and I appreciate you giving us a listen and being a fan of the show. The Money in the Bank 2015 results and notes: we had the kickoff show. They announced that they'll be honoring Dusty throughout the night, so that was nice to see. The interview with Neville backstage, and then R-Truth defeated King Barrett. which I called King Barrett for the win. And boy, what a disappointment King Barrett's run's been. When he first started, I really thought they were going to use this King Barrett gimmick, but boy, has it been a disappointment so far for him, in my opinion. I thought it would thrust him up there, maybe get him in the upper mid-card to the main event level, but it seems like he's just sticking right where he's at. I don't know why they really needed the change from King Barrett to Bad News. I'm expecting a change back here soon, because it's just not getting over that much. They kept this feud going on Raw the next night, too, which I'll mention here in a bit. But that match was a nice little kickoff spot. The main card, they had the entire roster come out for the 10-bell salute this time in honor of Dusty Rhodes, but they did not have the superstars come out at the live event. Vince was there also, and it was cool because after the 10-bell salute, they played Dusty's American Dream theme, which was really cool to hear the fans' reaction. Everybody started clapping to it. Vince, got real into it. If you watch it, I did find it enjoyable watching Vince, and actually saw it a couple times. If you go back and check out Money in the Bank, it's on there. So, yeah, the 10-bell salute for Dusty. Rest in peace. Like I said, this show tributed to him tonight. Money in the Bank ladder match. Sheamus actually gets the win here. I called Roman Reigns, but actually Bray Wyatt came out in the middle of the match and put Reigns out of the match with his sister Abigail. So there's a feud kicked off right there between those two. And Money in the Bank winner ended up being Sheamus, of all people. Sheamus, who is one of their, top heels right now, I would say, that they're trying to push. I guess they're trying to give him that kind of extra momentum, giving him this Money in the Bank, but I really don't see it working great. I would have rather seen Reigns win it and chase after Rollins and get into this Brock feud, but we'll get on to there soon. Sheamus winning, I just don't see a lot of money right there with him being a main event on a card. I just don't see a main event drawing with Sheamus on top. So I don't know how this is going to end with the Money in the Bank win. So Sheamus gets the briefcase. We had Paige and Nikki for the Divas title, and Paige actually pinned Bella. She thought so anyway, but it was actually Brie pulling the charade, the twin magic, and Nikki took control and hit a rack attack for the win and retained the title. I have heard and read that this was a tribute to Dusty on the finish with the switch there. I really liked it. It was Dusty booking, and you got to enjoy something that they did in honor of Dusty there. And Paige, who I thought would lose this match, I think Jeff called her as the win, did lose to Nikki, and Nikki now only 3 months away from becoming the longest reigning Divas champion, which I really think they're trying to erase AJ Lee from the book. Next, we had Ryback defeat Big Show by DQ after The Miz hit him a few times with the mic and caused a disqualification. He did come down and get involved. That was a disappointing ending. I would have rather seen like a clean ending, but there's a DQ win for Ryback in his first Intercontinental title defense against Big Show. I don't know where they're going to lead the feud there. I see Miz and Ryback getting in a feud now. I don't know where Big Show goes from here, but I can't really remember right offhand what they did with them the next night, but we'll get onto it here. I have it noted down. John Cena, Kevin Owens. I would say this match probably topped the first one, which I thought was almost impossible. If you heard me talk about the last match, it was just an instant classic, which I would say this match as well was a close to 5-star, 4-star classic match, especially for WWE. I definitely see a third match coming up here at Battleground in St. Louis, which I would have really liked to attend Battleground in St. Louis. I think my friend Jeff Crow will be attending it. He does get tickets via being a veteran, injured vet, which is, a great thing that WWE does for those guys serving our country and, putting themselves out there for the country. The least they deserve is some free tickets. Cena hit an AA after a classic match for the win, and afterwards he helped up Owens, claiming that he belonged here now. And he went to hand Owens the title and asked for a handshake, and then Cena raised his arm, and Owens turned, kicked him, and hit him with a pop-up powerbomb on the ring apron, Sami Zayn style, which put Cena out for the next Raw. So definitely they're going to keep this feud going, and I hope to see the rubber match here, as John Cena has a win now, Kevin Owens has a win. I really didn't love the AA finish. Could have been something different in my opinion, but I guess Cena hitting, I think it was the second AA of the match at least, for the win. other than that, this match was just a flawless classic, just like the last one. I just don't see Cena wrestling a bad match anymore. I can't say anything bad about the guy because he's been the top performer lately throughout every pay-per-view, it seems. So going on from that, we had the Primetime Players defeat New Day after a spinebuster on Woods for the pin, and they became tag team champions their first time. Primetime Players, of course, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. I don't see a lengthy run for the Primetime Players here, but I do see New Day, maybe getting the win here in a rematch and maybe switching back and forth the tag titles here. I think they wanted to see what kind of reaction the PTPers got, because they have been getting a pretty good reaction since returning, really. But putting these titles on them, does it help PTPers more than it does New Day? That may be what they're thinking as well. Rollins and Ambrose in the ladder match in the main event for the WWE title. You couldn't ask for a better ladder match, really. I would say this match and the Cena match made this whole pay-per-view. I would say the Money in the Bank was one of the weaker Money in the Banks that I've seen. I mean, there were some good spots, but as far as a Money in the Bank ladder match goes, I didn't see it being great, especially with Sheamus coming out on top. But Rollins and Ambrose, they took it to each other on this ladder match. And the ending, they both fell off the ladder grasping the title together, but Rollins was able to hold on to the belt while Ambrose lost the grip. And it was a great ending. You didn't know what was going to happen there. Rollins winning it that way, so close Ambrose was a great way to leave Ambrose hot and ready for another title match, which would be rightly deserved, although he lost. So it'll be interesting to see where Ambrose comes into the world title picture here. JoJo actually interviewed Rollins afterwards, and Rollins said he told you so, and he's the best the company has to offer, and he's the greatest WWE champion of all time. So the promo to go off the air there, gloating big time. So going on the next night on Raw, it went right into the aftermath as Seth came out and bragged about his win at Money in the Bank. He read a list of accomplishments and said he's Hall of Fame worthy even. He said take a good look at the champ, and then Ambrose cut him off. A brawl broke out on the outside. Rollins started targeting Ambrose's injured knee, and Ambrose then tackled him from the commentary table, and Rollins split. So Ambrose says the title slipped through his hands. Then Rollins wants to brag the fight will continue, and he's not leaving the ring until he comes back. So he pulls an old Stone Cold claiming he's not going to leave the ring until he came back. So then we went to the backstage segment, which showed Rollins talking to the Authority and asking why this is going on. He won fair and square, and this is his show. Steph said it sounded like he didn't need them before. Rollins says he meant J&J and Kane, not them. Rollins said they are on the same page. They should take Ambrose out of the ring and think who's next. Triple H said they are already thinking who's next, and that's going to be his next opponent, and he can trust them to make the right decision. So it was an interesting backstage segment that set up the main event segment that I will get here soon. It was not a match, but a segment. Next we had Sheamus come out and tell Ambrose that they're in similar spots because both of them made bold predictions, but he came through, and he'll do it again when he cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase. But right now he says that both like to fight, and the Authority has a problem, and he's going to deal with it. And he'll kick Ambrose's head off, is what he said. We had Ambrose and Sheamus next. Ambrose ducked the Broad kick and rolled up Sheamus for the win after Orton came out to get involved. And then Orton went after Sheamus, connecting with a DDT and called for an RKO. Orton leaped, but is shoved off, and Sheamus retreats with the briefcase. So a feud here between Orton and Sheamus, it's looking like. I'd actually like to rather see Orton get that briefcase to be in the picture here with Lesnar and Rollins. I don't see what Sheamus is going to do with this Money in the Bank briefcase. Will he hold on to it? Will he cash in? It's hard to say. They are in need of some top hills, so it'd be hard to say if he's going to do it or not. I don't really see holding on to the briefcase and actually cashing it in, but they may actually roll with Sheamus here. I don't know if they're thinking maybe Sheamus and Lesnar would be a good match down the road. I'd like to get other people's opinions on the Sheamus. So if you got any comments on Sheamus winning the Money in the Bank, I'd like to know, because in my opinion, I did not see him coming out as the Money in the Bank winner, and it's still kind of shocking to me that he is. And it just doesn't seem right with him with the briefcase. Just so suddenly like that after his return. Rollins told J&J backstage that he'd bring them back for any info. They refused and said they wouldn't tell him anyway, and if they did. And Noble says Mercury deserves the match after he pinned him last week. Rollins laughed, and Mercury says Rollins is afraid of him, and on the record it will always show that he beat Rollins, and it's just a matter of time till he loses his title. So J&J still sticking around in the storyline purpose, at least, as they get in a backstage segment there with Rollins. R-Truth versus Bad News Barrett, as I mentioned during Money in the Bank, they did have another match here. Truth ducked the bullhammer and gets the roll-up, and Wade attacked Truth post-bell, though, and took his crown and cape and said that he earned the right to be king, and Truth is a mockery, and now they will all hell to King Barrett. So, Bad News Barrett, I called him, but King Barrett really trying to get this gimmick over, but it's just been pretty pathetic, really, the whole run here with the King gimmick. I thought it would really thrust him up a notch, but he's just stuck the same place that he was before, and I wish they would really push Barrett because he is a pretty good talent and could be a top heel, in my opinion, if they pushed him right. After that, Owens came out and talked Cena not being there, and they can blame Cena for that. He says Cena tried to steal the spotlight. He says he beat Cena and went backstage, but Cena disrespected him, and he did what was necessary. He said he wants a rematch, and he wants it for the U.S. title, and since Cena's not issuing an open challenge, he is. Actually, he says he lost to Cena and went backstage, but Cena disrespected him. I don't know. I had it wrote down wrong there. The next thing that happened when he issued the open challenge was that Dolph Ziggler came out. Owens said he never said it was a title match when Dolph came out, but Dolph just attacked him, and it turned into a match between Dolph and Owens, and Owens ended up winning via pop-up powerbomb. So, pretty decent little spot there with Dolph and Owens going at it. Pretty interesting. I figured Owens would win the match, though, and he does. Owens looking really good as one of the top heels in the company right now, and I think they have a lot of money potentially in the talents of Kevin Owens. And I can see him being a great heel for the company, one of the top heels, especially with the matches he's been putting on lately. Cena, you can't say enough about the matches that he's put on with Owens too. So, I mean, I don't know if it's just the chemistry's there or all the matches are going to be like this with Owens. But I'm interested to see. Owens and Lesnar, in my opinion, would be a great feud if built up correctly. And he is used right here the next, 6 months or so. They could build up to a great match there between Owens and Lesnar. And it'd be a great way to turn Lesnar face, in my opinion. But on from that, Paige organized a meeting backstage and to take a stand and beat the Bellas. She says the Authority needs to take notice, so the Bellas walk in, and Nikki says she has been champ for a reason, and they can side with Paige if they want to, but she's the one who helped Stephanie win last year, and she's still champ. So they all walked out one by one, and Paige says that this isn't over, and Nikki says it is, and wave goodbye. So, a little spot there keeping the feud between Paige and the Bellas going. I still see Paige in the future here as a Divas champion. I don't know. I really think that they're going to have Nikki try to pull off the longest Divas champion reign in history over AJ Lee. And actually a note on that I had is that she has already became the third longest reigning Divas champ at 205 days, knocking Beth Phoenix from the spot. Next we had Randy Orton versus Kane. After a while here in the match, Kane ended up grabbing the mic and announcing a no-holds-barred match, and none other than Sheamus came down, and both of them attacked Orton. Sheamus brogue kicked Orton, and Kane got the pin, so Sheamus got his little payback there, even though he retreated with the briefcase, but it was pretty cheap payback. Rollins and Kane had a little backstage argument. Rollins said Kane has always had help from his brother and his dad and the Authority, and Kane said to keep his family out of it, and he wishes that he could have named the opponent for Rollins tonight. So, little backstage segment there. We went on to Big Show versus Miz next. Big Show actually got into it with Ryback, who was on commentary, and during this little scuffle, Miz was able to roll in and get a count-out win. Ryback and Big Show started brawling, and Big Show retreated, so keeping the feud there going between Show and Ryback. And actually, when I was going through Money in the Bank, I kind of slipped my mind on what happened the next night, but so it's interesting they're keeping Big Show and Ryback's feud going now. Well, The Miz also is involved in this. I see a triple threat match coming at the next pay-per-view right here between Big Show, Miz, and Ryback. Actually, you know, I thought Ryback and Miz would be the feud there, but, you know, you got to put Big Show in there too because he's been getting screwed every week now that I think about it. Next, we had Reigns come out and talk about being pissed off and never got any sleep because of what Bray Wyatt did. Bray cut him off, though, and Reigns told him to shut up and get out there, but Bray says he stole hope from him, and it shouldn't have been him on that ladder. He said that it reminds them of another chosen one, and they made the wrong choice, and they won't fight because it'll set a bad example. Bray sings to a photo of Reigns' fatherhood commercial, and it creeped out Reigns in the ring. Bray says they're just getting started and told him to run. And it has been announced for Battleground that Reigns will take on Bray Wyatt. So that'll be an interesting match right there, an interesting feud. But Reigns, I would rather see him with the Money in the Bank briefcase right now instead of feuding with Wyatt. And why Wyatt wasn't in the Money in the Bank match, I have no idea. Next we had Paige versus the Bella Twins. Nikki hits the Rack Attack for the win. Just a quick match there between the Bella Twins taking on Paige 2-on-1. Not much to say there, but keeping the feud going. Obviously, unfair advantage there for the Bella Twins. But Nikki hits the Rack Attack for the win. Machine Gun Kelly's performance. Mentioned Cena at the beginning, and Kevin Owens ended up coming out sarcastically clapping. And Machine Gun Kelly and Kevin Owens had words. Kelly shoved them, and then Owens kicked Machine Gun Kelly and powerbombed him from the stage. Through a couple tables that looked like down below, something they had rigged up there. Great spot. I actually thought it was kind of humorous myself. I mean, the guys taking Machine Gun Kelly out, claiming that they needed to get him to a hospital, his spine could be, you know, shattered or whatever. Kevin Owens coming out sarcastically clapping. It just reminded me a lot of an Attitude Era spot. And it's gotten some negative reviews, actually, the whole deal, but I really thought it was a good spot, although, like, you know, like Machine Gun Kelly really has a chance in hell against Kevin Owens. I mean, in real life, yeah. But, you know, it was a good spot, though, and at least they used Machine Gun Kelly instead of just having him perform. They actually used him in a spot, which I thought was better than just having him come out there and perform. I couldn't tell you one song that Machine Gun Kelly sings, by the way. If anybody has heard of him, I apologize, but I just don't know who this Machine Gun Kelly is. I know he's been around for a while, and he did perform at WrestleMania, so I know I seen some kind of Twitter that he posted that he really enjoyed what he did, and he was fine. So Kevin Owens drives him through the off the stage through a couple tables. It was pretty cool. I posted the video, actually, from WWE on the Facebook page. If you go check it out, it's up there, the footage of it. New Day and the Primetime Players and Neville had a 6-man match. Neville hit the Red Arrow for the win, so it looks like the Primetime Players keep building momentum over the New Day, but I expect that that will be a feud to continue here throughout the weeks and the months. Backstage, Ambrose was shown playing darts. Ambrose berated Kane as the champion, saying he was champ when he was the demon, but now he's just a shell, and it doesn't matter what his business card says. It says Kane has a job, but this is Ambrose's life, and he won't stop until he gets the title that he deserves. Kane, you know, actually said at least he has been a world champion, but that was when Ambrose said that he was champion when he was the demon, but now he's just a shell of his former self. I see a return for Kane to his old character before he hangs it up. He has to put the mask back on and do the old Kane performance. I wish it would be the original attire. He'd have one more run with that original attire. Breathing problem or not, I would just love to see it. They probably wouldn't do it. It would probably be the same mask that he had on before. But with all this down talk lately to Kane, I just see him going back to the monster and finally snapping here on the whole Authority. And could be a pretty good face for the company. He could be a good heel as well as the Masked Heel if they want to take him in that direction and bring the monster back. But I just see Kane doing it. I don't see him hanging it up as Corporate Kane, and I'm just getting real sick of Corporate Kane now, and they need to do something with him. So we get to the main event spot, which was the highlight of the night, and big news as the Authority came out and says they have an opponent for Rollins, and it's not Mercury, it's not Ambrose. Rollins comes out and says he's good as they think, and no one can take his title. Rollins says he will embarrass his next opponent. Triple H says he's proven himself, but they need to take a look at their investment. And Stephanie and Triple H hint that Rollins actually paid off And Triple H says Rollins could crumble, though, or turn into a diamond under pressure, but who knows? And he has to, look at their investment. And who else's music hits but Brock Lesnar? Rollins looked real scared in the ring. Brock gets right in Rollins' face, and Rollins would not look him in the eye if you go back and check it out. And he cowered away while Brock stayed put, and Triple H and Steph watched on from ringside. I really would have thought that, since Rollins was the one that screwed Brock out of the title, that he would definitely come right out swinging, fighting, brawling, whatever, and would have liked to seen Brock get a little physical there on the return, other than just staring him down and having him cower away. They really, really made Rollins look like a weakling and just a scaredy cat. They really just made him look really weak in this segment, with him just cowering away like that, not looking him in the eye. He could at least tried to show some false bravery or something, but, just a little physicality would have been better for me as far as the whole segment. But I do enjoy seeing Brock back, and you can't beat having Lesnar back in there. It's just the bottom line that Brock's good for business. And that is a note that I did note too, that the whole reason for Brock coming back was to do with the network subscription numbers, because I guess they have a conference call coming up and they want to boost the subscriptions by the time it comes around, and they want to do good numbers at Battleground. So Brock was brought back earlier than expected to jump into Battleground and try to boost the network subscriptions. So, also some other news and notes, as that was the end of Raw, and I give it Raw an average to pretty good. Just because of the Brock Lesnar segment alone. The Kevin Owens spot was good to me too, so I want to give this one not as good as they've had lately, but it was pretty damn decent, compared to what they've had in the past year that we've talked about. So I can't really give them a bad review for Raw. I think it was very good overall, and I'd like to hear other people's from the show's opinion next week. Hopefully Jeff can get on here and let me know what he thought of it, the whole Brock return, which I'm sure we'll see more on this coming Monday. WWE wanted Austin interview to be less insider and focus more on entertaining conversations, just a note. I read that about what WWE wanted Austin's interviews to be like. Lawler mentioned that SmackDown may go live on Fridays on USA when they move during a meet and greet for the USA Championship Wrestling free card at the 37th Annual Superman Celebration in Metropolis, Illinois, which he worked the main event. So that's interesting. If SmackDown goes live on Friday nights, you could see a big boost in ratings if they go live, in my opinion. Me and Jeff have talked before, and we both think they could benefit in a live SmackDown. Next, Finn Balor credited Taker and Triple H for helping him with his entrance, I read. And also, 2K16 announced that Rollins, Bryan, Ambrose, Barrett, Page, and Finn Balor are the first 6 roster members for the 2K16 game. So that must be noted about Balor as well. I see nothing but money in Balor, and he's going to be coming to the main roster next after Owens here, in my opinion. He will be the next NXT champion. I'm predicting that now. He already has the #1 contendership, so I see the next live special, Finn Balor possibly taking the belt. Global Force Wrestling had their first ever live event, and it was by far sold out. I do wish them, luck in their endeavors here, but Global Force has to build up some kind of following and pack some crowds. Because that event that they had, the picture I saw, was pretty sad as far as attendance goes, but I'm glad to see Global Force off the ground and running. 10 names were officially eliminated from Tough Enough. I don't know any info on the actual names, but they were, so make sure you check out the Tough Enough contest that's coming here soon. Lucha Underground announced a 2-hour season finale, so all the fans of Lucha Underground, make sure you be checking your local listings for the 2-hour season finale. I forgot to note that Global Force Wrestling's first ever live main event was Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows defeating the New Heavenly Bodies. After Cornette nailed one of the bodies with the racket, Jarrett came out at the end and shook hands with the Bullet Club. So that was the ending of the Global Force Wrestling live event, by the way. Billy Gunn was seen on Twitter claiming if PTP want to keep the titles, they might not want to mock NAO. I guess they did mock the New Age Outlaws. So Billy Gunn comes back on Twitter. I'd like to see the New Age Outlaws get back in action. They looked good the last time, but were cut short by an injury. And I think they could still have a pretty good run here, and possibly another tag title run if they get into it with the primetime players. So that'd be interesting to see. We didn't see anything on Harper, Rowan, and the Dudley Boys this week, but I still see that being a possible feud here in the future, getting the Dudleys back in there. So getting New Age Outlaws and the Dudleys in there to work with some of these younger tag teams, build up the division, I'm all for it. China actually was noted to visit the WWE headquarters, possibly unofficially though. An unclear reason, but the photo seems legit, they say. It was actually Eric Angra, if I'm correct, the filmmaker, that noted this on Twitter and said that she is currently raising money for a documentary, but a WWE source said that she's had no communication and wasn't in Stamford for any scheduled meeting. So we'll keep you updated on China and her visit to WWE headquarters and this whole documentary. But I was surprised to hear that she is even at WWE headquarters. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump running for president. Must note, Megadeth was spelled wrong on Ziggler's patch Sunday night, if anybody noticed. A little note that I had for Money in the Bank. And it was corrected, though, Monday night to Megadeth spelling Megadeth instead of Death. They got it right. Bill DeMott posted a announcement for a tryout training camp. So anybody interested, look up Bill DeMott's tryout training camp, which should be interesting to hear about. Bill DeMott recently was released from NXT WWE as the NXT head trainer, which we have noted on the show. So I like to see that Bill's getting back in there and not afraid to keep going on his training, which he should. Yoshitatsu returned to training after a career-threatening injury, breaking 2 bones in his neck, taking a Styles Clash wrong, but he has returned and took some bumps in the ring, so I have nothing but the best of luck to Yoshitatsu on his return. Blackjack Mulligan actually suffered a heart attack and currently is in critical condition, but conscious. Blackjack Mulligan, the grandfather of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas, and the father of Barry and Kendall Windham. Great wrestling family there, and so shout out to Blackjack there, and I hope he can get well soon and get back on his feet after suffering that heart attack. I think he was going to have a surgery to take pressure off his brain, but he could not do that due to the heart attack. So I hope Blackjack Mulligan gets well. And the last note that I wanted to note was the Sting DVD and Blu-ray Into the Light that will be released by WWE. Actually, October 7th it will be released in Australia, so that means an early October release date is probably going to be the case for the United States as well. Actually, I have come to the end of my notes and the end of episode 31. And like I said in the beginning here, I'm glad that all you bared with me and were able to make it through the show. It's been since the 7th episode that I've done this on my own. But if you have any questions or comments for me or anybody else that co-hosts with me here on the show, make sure you leave them down in the comment section below or on Facebook, and we will be sure to answer any questions or reply to any comments that you have. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like us on Facebook if you find us there. And make sure everybody checks out Chronochord Media as well on Facebook and YouTube. I will post their link to their channel on YouTube in the info section below in our videos like always. Shout out to Cdub, Steve, and Jason, Jeff, everybody out there. And I want to say once again, rest in peace to the late, great American Dream Dusty Rhodes, the son of a plumber, the common man. He will always be missed, and I think that's a great note to end today's show. And until next week, guys, it's Jeff Jaros, the Brawl for All Pro Wrestling Show. As always, peace out.